They're changing off this Junkrat already. Yeah, you can see they're going to switch right off of it. No, yeah, you do not want the junk against Farah. Even Jake wouldn't do that.
This is very Los Angeles Valiant, actually, what the Fuel are going for here. With the Farah Mercy with the double shield involved. See what Doha can get done here. Oh, Accretion dead. Well, nice knowing you.
That's where he can get done. Plus Accretion so powerful. You had a red back onto it. Widow Sombra on Oasis. Interesting. So double shield. Yeah, double shield would make this a little bit harder, but really now the pressure's on Doma not to get picked off.
A lot of pressure on Odigon there from Mira. Oh, I just want to Doha. He wants to flick. He looks to the sky. I mean, he's got a crack out of his mind. Gets the shot on paint for OG. Finishes the job as a gargantuan EMP and certainly hiding the outfield. They are ready. Essentially using their main tanks especially. Burberry now comfortable position playing forward to shut down Grimzo, and now he's starting to fire over the wall. Gladiators still have control of the point, but there's still storm going on here. No one can turn completely unaware with a longer range rocket.
Yeah, this is good though for the Dallas Fuel. Just keep stalling this out. You have the far off in the sky. It's going to be Paintbrush and Doha being able to contest this. Now, if they get a little bit too high in the point split, that'll be a hack onto Paintbrush. He will fall. Do you stay on the far though? I think that's the question. Like, is Rocket Barrage worth that much? I mean, the fact that you have Rocket Barrage plus Valkyrie, maybe you just kind of tend to use both here in this fight and see what happens, but big plus from space.
OG was down there, but he was the only one. The rest of the Gladiators were a little bit slow to respond to the good clutch. As a result, the crackback damage from Dallas is better.
Now the Glads, like, what do you do here? I mean, you have
it's Lucio.
Yeah, it's a weird support lineup. I mean, we can talk about that, but like, you got the walls now as well. But Dallas is beautiful. You can just hold on to the point. You got early the Supercharger and Matrix coming out. They are able to get Crimson though. That's huge. There's a lot of the healing there for the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, and Space able to control the area now as he moved up. Look at this, look at him pushing forward, he's trying to make it so, there's always backtracking and he's getting caught away from his shield there. So that's what we saw at the start of fight as well.
Widow Sombra compared to, Farah Rockets and Ash damage going down on your shields. Especially, I mean, that's just even without the damage boosting of either of the heroes. So you need the Lucio to close the gap or else you're never going to be able to have that position. You can just on space make.
Oh, the barrage here. Okay, they'll have to think twice about it. Oh, careful! Paintbrush able to quickly latch onto him and give that healing, but only got a note gets caught out while Doha was sort of reconsidering trying to make that play. Paintbrush trouble here. Gets the drop down. Somehow able to stay alive, and there it is. Doha finds the back.
The nano barrage there is massive. It connects 4 players. Now the Gladiators, they have to just kind of roll onto the point here. OG goes to Wrecking Ball. He'll be able to force overtime.
Yeah, and he gets out to safety as well, so he doesn't actually die for stalling. And the Fuel company forced to turn and chase him with Wrecking Ball. That is, oh no! He's driven his flux here, everybody getting held up, and at least the mortality field available for Chance, who's actually on the team. Basically, people are gigantic grenade there for the group, so there's nowhere to bring their Sigma back into the fray. Only God got removed, but it is hardly the issue right now for the Gladiators. But one by one they come and one by one they fall. Right now, the Gladiators, they suffer. They really suffer against the nano barrage of Doha, man.
Yeah, and then looks like that's a nano mercy here at the end, but Burberry with 2 OG. Wait, what?
Oh, unbelievable. Did he get a big headshot kill? Turns it around. The Gladiators back in control now. 93% in counting. It's not how it was drawn up.
Did they just troll as well with the nano mercy, and is it going to backfire? Do they think this is
serious? You can't be serious!
Oh.
The Gladiators now in control, and Dallas had to go for a draw on their own here. Can they replicate the heroics of Burberry? It's unlikely. He only got taken down to be touched the ground, and EMP catches only off the front line, and here is moves float away. Burberry strikes again, gets rid of Paintbrush. Now it's going to be a pile driver into the minefield for OG. Note gets taken down, and that's the objective. The Gladiators take that first round.
Mirror on the Junkrat again. I assume as soon as they see this farm, we're going to see the same exact thing with the switch off yet again.
Back to Sombra, it's likely. The Mirror isn't actually waiting for anyone to scout. So he's pushed out of spawn. There's no switch off for him, at least in this next fight.
He's got to now.
All the Gladiators. Yeah. He stays here. Accretion. Able to stay alive though. Nice healing there. Very rapidly given in by Shaz. Then Burning looking for this far immersive duo. Gladiators are trying to be the ones here that do the maneuvering. They've got the Lucio. Hansu somehow stays alive in Birdwing there. Not pretty sure how he managed that. And the Gladiators are going to be chasing Dallas as much as they possibly can now. The Fuel want to keep the Spara up. Continue to try and break line of sight around these corners. Around these buildings. Goha can't hang on. Paintbrush had to dash away. He got picked up. Now Dallas, I guess, the sort of centerpiece of their competition is missing, and Mirror can work them down.
Yeah, there was no immortality field available for the Dallas field. Crimso had to use it to keep Gob still alive. And yeah, the Gladiators just back up a little bit, then play to contest the point, and not able to keep anyone alive. So now the Junkrat may pay off. Kind of walking in, using the shields into the Junkrat. A great combination. Could be pretty tough for the Dallas field.
Getting control of the point. The far immersive always a bit harder than just maintaining it. Okay, so here's the amplification matrix. Nice increase. Timing goes over the top, and the Gladiators are going to be slow off the starter's block. Doha wants to try and pressure and for as much as he can, but they're forced out of LOS now because of that air matrix. The higher that Doha flies, the easier it will be to make sure that air damage isn't being directed at him. Still, not really a situation he wants to poke out into. Bird, I think captain in there.
He was just really worried about the Batiste plus the McCree shooting through that matrix.
Birdring now just his side route from flank now. And he gets rid of Crypto or he got on the backside. He gets rid of Only got to start to fight up with. If he can find Crypto, it'll be huge. No response though. He turns around, deals with the flank, and our face wants to drive forward. Can he grab? Pretty much at all, actually. Really thought he'd come out of that with a little bit more skill, but no, removes him. It's like another Holt crease. She's got the job done, and Dallas are back in control.
Dallas are with control of the point. They have 5 ultimates on the board here. There should be at least 2 fights that go Dallas's favor, potentially taking the lead in terms of percentage.
Dead Eye for Birdring now. Dude, Paintbrush is so hard to outflow because the Hawk set that kill up again. Fantastic stuff from OG. Constantly paving the way for Birdring to make these plays. And Crimso, yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. Sat under his immortality, still was able to find Birdring. He's still most of that has already been done. A Mirror now, again, late in the fight. The Junkrat's starting to come alive, and he has a Riptire if he needs it. Goha switches off the fire. I realizes it's just too risky, and he's not getting enough value. Gumshoe, though, might help his team stay in control here. Just got away there. Maybe could have done more. Great immortality to that T-Botia.
I was going to say, perfect timing from Shaz. OG was pretty much dead to rides there. Big plays for now. It's higher here at the end. What is Dallas even doing?
Well, Riptire first needs to be dealt with. Mirror sends that one in. Doesn't want, no, boost back. Okay, I like that by Paintbrush, but it's not enough to keep Goha alive. Fire still set his way. Immortality Girl put down now. Very aggressive use of that, but he's pulled down and oh, you see space there. He realizes his punch won't go all the way to his target unless he bounces them, and he just bounces them at a very sharp angle off the ground to his target. Very clever.
Use here. You'll get a touch. Paintbrush will trigger OT, but a bit of space could put this away.
And Goha's kind of flanking that left-hand side, but I really don't see him getting much value with Dead Eye, and he doesn't. The Los Angeles Gladiators looking very comfortable now behind that double shield setup, and they even get to play a bit of Doomfist themselves. They'll take map number 1.
Allows the Gladiators to control the choke with a Batiste and May, obviously with the double shield tanks, but also have the safety of having the McCree to be able to deal with this more on the sky. So a lot like how Soul Dynasty did last night, and damage here to the choke, forces some players back, and play around this pillar.
Goha just needs to poke out for 1 or 2 moments to send these rockets, and he's already back to safety. He wants to find the happen here. He's such a big spot to get damage, but Node already goes down, and with the clamp in the front line of Dallas, Goha is eventually going to get scrutinized.
I mean, you see how the defensive Lucio comes into play there, right? You can see it from Doha's POV. how fast the Gladiators take the fight when the Maze Wall comes down to the Dallas Fuel. And with the shielding in play and like things like Kinetic Grasp and damage going down on the Doha, it's not enough damage to even concern the Gladiators for keeping the push on going.
Dallas have to be very careful of that May wall, right? And that is obviously the signal, the dead giveaway that the Gladiators want to push up. Use Lucio's speed boost to get into strike distance. This flank. Okay. Flank ban, have a 3 damage on pace. Doesn't result in kills though, but still, it looks like Nobis doesn't have any kind of healthy bad Burberry where he is.
Yeah, they have to use an Anubis here onto Noto to keep him alive. You'll have an Ant Matrix available for the Gladiators. That's an Ice Block from Ball. Yeah, Ice Block from Kempster. Pretty mad. Taking damage with that Dynamite promoting him.
Doha, as soon as he starts firing, immediately Burberry's head swivels towards him like an owl and starts taking shots at it. With Onigot down now, Doha's the only DPS he's going to try and go. Or he attempted maybe a barrage set up there with his positioning, but did Priest actually hit him not while he was standing still, barraging, but while he was in midair. So that was a nice shot. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It is a bird.
He's gonna go for like a flanking Deadeye here, maybe like a Gravitic Flux plus a Deadeye.
He's waiting for Onigot. He's waiting for Onigot to come up here and try and get that position again so he can flash him straight away. And if he doesn't come up here, then he flanks and goes through a Deadeye, like you said. But he just wants that to push him. He sees Onigot now. Deadeye is going to be the option. Crimzo shoots out of line of sight. Goha's already gone down here. And now Burberry just goes back to safety. Plays the high ground. Man, Dallas are getting the meat grind right now, that is. Oh, good. Yeah. Space just gathers him up and throws him over his shoulder.
This is as close to the spawn camp you can get on Eichenwalde. So let's see, what can Dallas Fuel do here at the start? Like they have to play the Mercy with the bar, so you lack the speed to get through the choke and avoid like things like the Maze Wall. And with the Gravitic Flux in play from Node, they'll just Immortality deal this. And they don't really have a great nano boost target. There's not many synergies with this comp.
Well, Gravitic Flux doesn't always use a combo with it. Can't use the ultimate ball. Okay, Bot gets drawn out there. And Immortality field, I think that was meant for space. As Node's able to pretty much control Burberry on his own right now, right? Just force him away. Huge damage from those hyper spears, and there's no one to help him. The Gladiators still trying to play around space right now.
Well, the Gladiators, they were going to play around Kempster with the Blizzard, but he ends up falling, so that's where everything just crumbles apart.
Yeah, global warming, Matt. Not interested in it.
Yeah. So, well, he still has a Blizzard. He just didn't use it. Doha takes 2 shots there. Do you have to switch off of the Pharah here? Like, if you don't get control of like high ground and castle and win this first fight handedly, you almost have to, I feel like.
I think Doha is being tempted by the prospect of like a concussive blast defensively to knock the Gladiators off the high ground, right? Just put them up. I think that is kind of like it's fairly safe, Burberry is just out of his mind.
Aggressive space hunting. Gum's just going back to his original.
Yeah, why not? Space knows exactly what he's doing.
One back with the team.
Well, it'll have to be kills on the Gladiators right now. I mean, this is not fair. Gumsu never did anything to deserve it. He's like the most wholesome member of this team, and well, okay. That's a long stagger. And it also means, by the way, there's way less space for Doha to actually peek from now with how much the Gladiators are pushed up.
And they control the choke, which is great for the May. Yeah,
what is it about Dallas' competition that makes it so good or makes it so attractive to them to play? When we see such inherent synergy from the Gladiators.
Pretty sturdy on the point. They try and push through. You have the Biotic Grenade, could be pretty massive. Good poke damage on the way through with the Pharah. You just haven't got to yet.
Okay. Sorry, Doha wasn't actually channeling the barrage there. I thought it might have been interrupted for a moment, Matthew, but we carry on as he goes for a long-range barrage. It's taken down by Kempster. At length, Node gets caught in the blizzard there, so nicely done by Kempster to really put the kibosh on whatever the Dallas was trying to go for early in the fight. Gumsu's still low. He might have to dance his shield a little bit here to avoid being frozen up, but nicely done by Doha.
Sustainability on the card with the double shield tank set up, with the Immortality build. So you'll have a bomb here as well. The speed comes into the body already get control higher.
Supercharger, Burberry. Hey! to get maybe some damage there. Gumpton went down early. Trent left. So Bob gets mostly cancelled out. Crimzo beat Kepster. Crimzo wants to win another 1v1 against DTS. He was looking like he was going to do it too. Only God is down now, so Doha really needs to step up. And D2 in disarray right now. Both main shield tanks for the Gladiators are split up here. And Doha's in a decent spot to pressure, but Shaz is also a hit scan. He's having to deal with Doha at the cost of his own life. Big D's now hoping for an environmental kill to really swing things in the Gladiators' favor, or at least tonight is high ground. Space gets up there. Unclear as to whether it was the Wizard of Rabbinic Clutch he's able to get up there or went the long way. Either way, having him in that kind of off angle is so powerful for the Gladiators. And Birdring's just waiting for a shot that's never going to come because no one's on the car for Dallas. We'll see now as Kepster has to rejoin the rest of his team. He'll need to cross this gap to do so.
I do find it somewhat funny. They let Kepster take the Widowmaker shots after Birdring just had a play with Widowmaker, just killing 4 people to win a point. But, you know, probably wouldn't have resulted in a kill anyway.
Space forced to back up here. I mean, we'll talk about this in a second. Set up there for the Gladiators. That's not where they actually want to fight at all. Jazz goes down, so does Oasis. So
right, this is not the live patch, so the halt radius is still the same as previous. Eventually, we'll get there,
the average, it's the diameter of the sun, basically.
Yeah, so you see, big halt and Anti comes in from Crimzo. I believe that connects with 3 players. To be the Gladiators just kind of regrouping out.
Doha is so crazy that he goes that. He actually gets a 1-2 trade, so in the end, it works out.
This is where you're starting to like the Pharah comes, right? When those halts come in, the big biotic grenades, and then you also have the damage that's being put down by the Pharah. Forcing an immortality field early, like look for a chance of POV. So this is the very coming up.
This is a very different approach now for the Gladiators match. They actually standard fight off the bat. Huge fighting grenade from the backside. Crimzo, he can't stay alive. He gets his revenge. That immortality field is able to sustain space for as long as he needed it. Now what about Doha? Another barrage for the Pharah. And a lot of pressure now to be applied to the front line. He eventually went for something good. Jumping down immediately. He was waiting on the bridge for just such an opportunity. Oh! Didn't hold back up into the Birdring, but he gets himself caught out of position. Only got hits him with the dynamite. But the Gladiators win that front line brawl finally after starting the fight with an ant matrix.
Yes, the biotic grenade is good for Crimzo, but I'm sure they would have much rather had him alive for most of that fight. Losing him with the nano boost is pretty tough there.
Space. Essentially playing an off angle just by being in the castle. He just wants to make sure no one can run them from there. Okay, that would have been insane. Paintbrush Pack trying to get back towards the Pharah. He's in trouble. Birdring just needs 1 more body shot. Sometimes they're the hardest to get, especially against such a spell figure as the Mercy. So Paintbrush is able to get away to safety once again. Air Matrix is thrown down, and Big Dude is here just to make sure Gamsu stands out in front of that Air Matrix. He goes down to space eventually. Snow was looking for a finish on Kev, but Big Tranquilo takes out another nice fighting grenade from Crimzo on space, who has to use his kinetic grasp to stay alive.
There's no big support ult on the other side. They don't have a sound barrier, no transcendence that they can like kind of hide, come out of nowhere, keep everybody up. It'll be much harder for the Dallas to kind of weather through that EMP if it's good.
Doha will just play part of the situation. Act there, briefly. Kepster waiting for Birdring out, operating inside the castle, some early damage on Gumsy. Forces a barrier, which is bad for Gumsy if they were up to the dust. Now the Gumsy barrier's down, that's when the Gladiators want to push in, and Kepster gets rid of Doha. Big EMP. Birdring forces Gumsy apart with his most important cooldown, and the Gladiators see a chance. Doha wrapped around now, and the pressure is on the Gladiators. Now they have less time to check their corners and check their flanks. Crimzo has a nano boost here as well, which is huge if Doha wants to have an unfettered barrage. Okay, Gumsy drops down, holds. Immortality field eventually using Doha's outlet kicks there while banking on a barrage into the hold. But now the double shield don't have that good option. The Denied came with perfect time for Birdring. And now the Gladiators push on up. No, surrounded and taken down. Just when Dallas were looking at end things right there, they get interrupted. Doha doesn't bother. He switches off the Pharah now. No barrage barrage available at the Doomfist for the final fight, the final chance for Dallas to stop the Gladiators and get themselves a map win, Matt. They're going to head to the high ground, hold on the Crimson. Unbelievable stuff. Okay, so Farah, so it's going to be Mercy Dick. The Farah Mercy, in fairness, Mira doesn't do anything.
You are playing strictly though, being able to get picks. Like with Discord and Farah, do enough damage. Like if you don't get anything out of that, like you're in lots of trouble.
That shield from Gamsu also does very little being placed on the low ground there. I mean, it's so easy to shoot over the top of if you control the high ground. Alright, so what does Doha do? He can actually get fairly close here and pick the top of those arches. A little hard for Birdwing to see him on the Ash, but here, Mira.
Oh, come on.
Oh, man. Mira, this is the antithesis to jump for an airborne target. Still covered in in a paint run. Oh, my God. Bad in paint run.
Yeah, you know how they know they're not really worried about the Farah is they're having the jump crack challenge the Farah up in the sky.
That's wrong. Mira just breaks his shield right quickly, gives Gamsu and gets himself a moment alone there with Crypto, able to eliminate him all too easily. And I mean, Shaz is also cracked, you know, in terms of like a hit scam player. His armor was also really nice, so he's happy to try and shoot down your Farah, especially if the Mercy's not there. So
See this.
it's splash damage, right? But still, that is what you're committing yourself to if you are out of the Farah or the Mercy there.
Like, what do you get out of, what do you do with your Transcendence?
You try and keep your front line alive. Sure as hell won't be doing anything too far. Here's the Riptire. Transcendence isn't going to save anyone from this one. There is Scout, Crypto dead, Paintbrush down again. Wow, Mercy's really struggling with explosives today.
As the bomb goes in, it'll take out the Farah. You see the space. Extremely aggressive here, pushing on in. Still Ant Matrix available here for the Gladiators. Valkyrie 2. A lot to work with here for the Glads, as we're down to just a minute 30 for Dallas to get something done.
Again, Mira just stepped in, only got no room to work with. Remote mine thrown in. Mira, I mean, pretty aggressive from him. He does go down to the dot, just holds it back in a position. I think, but Mira's now brought back to life. Crypto gets the Transcendence stop, but how much value was really gained there? We'll have to wait and see. Note low on shield, but nice prophetic flux does get spaced rather low on health. And Mira eventually gets taken down again after being resurrected. This is where Doha has a chance to try, but somehow Shaz is able to take Doha down, and with the damage boost from
Paintbrush is so...
Oh my! Everybody is having a crack at removing Paintbrush right now. And again, there's enough hit
behind.
again.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he doing? Walking at Shaz? Yeah, he's gonna get removed there.
He's gonna do much else. No, Crypto's up in the high ground. Oh no.
So this is what we get in the first week, often of like a new meta or a new hero pool. It's like, I honestly
not
think
this. I mean,
no, man.
you get teams experimenting, but Dallas seems like they're all over the place. There's players everywhere.
Farah's not setting up. Matt is bald, so you know just how egregious this is from Dallas.
Win this fight though. Good bomb. Plus they got Vault and Rocket Barrage.
Mira, not a care in the world, goes pretty low. Trying to stay away from Crypto's been removed here by damage due to Birdwing and Doha. I mean, he's using a barrage to try and get rid of Batiste. It's a trade. Birdwing's bob on the point, so he gets rid of Gamsu as well. The Paintbrush is so low, the Dynamite, he's going off. That's unbelievable. The Gladiators turn up the heat again, and it's not just the Dynamite singeing the fuel.
So let's see, do they... I thought for a second you could have played ball and like put pressure on the point, got them off of the bridge. They'll play Sombra, Doom, Dime, Spear, gets up on the high ground. This will be a play for the
nifty
bridge.
rollout.
Yeah, this will be a bridge rollout here. Ooh, does that all kind of end there?
No, they'll get healed up. Mira stays out of sight, but Gamsu still keeps a shield forward. So he's clearly worried about what Mira might be playing.
They're setting this up. Here it goes.
Goes Mira. Alright, actually goes for a very passive approach here. Maybe he's going to bait something, maybe Immortality, but it doesn't really work. Space gets hold now very low on health. Whoever healed space up there, that was crucial. He was about to get D2.
They lose
Nani.
They were farming that nano rather quickly.
Oh, okay. The 1-2 punch, literally. Mirror's having to get rid of Zohar there, combining with Birdring nicely. The Gladiators have the ace up their sleeve, and it's in the form of Lucio. Hello. Birdring onto the point now, just churning Garmsu down. Only got quick solutions to try and get back here in time, but I don't think time is something that is on the Fuel side. One more pick is all that's needed now. Zohar trying to make it, not quite enough.
Victory.